writer's room, we would discuss a certain element and we'd realize, you know, this is going to be a Rob Hall thing.
What Rob does well is he pushes to the limit kind of what it is that we're trying to do. He'll take that idea out to its sort of platonic ideal.
The process of script to screen is usually something like this. We get a script, 8 or 9 days later, we're gonna start shooting that episode. They'll give it to me, we'll go to a concept meeting, we'll sit down. I'll usually have all these ridiculous, grandiose ideas, and I'm usually overly optimistic, like, yeah, we can do that. And then I go back to the shop and have a meltdown session with all the guys in the shop and go, how the hell are we gonna do this in less than a week?
What Rob does is make sure that there is a credible reality created when there's a fight between a Terminator and another Terminator, or a fight between a Terminator and another human.
This season for us started off with a bang, literally. And with Cameron in particular, she starts off the entire episode with her face hanging off from the Jeep explosion.
He does things that I think are just extraordinary, like the damage on Cameron's face in Samson and Delilah.
That's 2, 3. Yeah, perfect.
Summer has this very tiny, dainty, porcelain-like face, and anything you put on her, it's the old problem that you're always dealing with prosthetics. It's a subtraction addition problem. You know, you're doing this side of my face, but it's supposed to be recessed, but obviously I have to add things to it. I can't scoop out this side of my face, so it's a sleight of hand. It really is. You're trying to add things to make it look like there's less, and that's a big magic trick. It can be helped or it can be ruined by lots of things, lighting, camera angles.
There's so many things that he has to think about to make it all work. And I'm really proud of what he's been able to do. Don't always love the hours that I have to spend in his chair, but we've got a system where I can kind of fall asleep and wake up with half my face missing.
In television, you want to acquire as much practical effects as you can on camera. You'd rather do that than try to do it CG. It makes it more real for the actors. It gives an immediacy to the footage, and it tells the story in a much more effective way.
You're never not hurt in a fight, you know, unless you're Superman. So it makes you feel like you've been in a fight. It makes you feel like you've been through something, and it's kind of nice. You can feel some blood running down.
The episode we did where Cameron cuts into her arm, you know, that was all, you know, a prop that was created by Rob.
It'll be like this. So the girl, the hand double, puts her hand up through the table like so.
Right.
It's blended off, and so.
Because Rob Hall's makeup effects are so good at that moment that we're shooting it, we can focus on what's actually happening between Cameron and John. Because what viewers will take away from that scene is that when John fixes her hand, with her arms splayed open like that, Cameron holds John's hand.
You feel any different?
Yes.
When we shot Cromartie's head off, that was sort of a combination of Rob Hall and Jim Lima, and those two guys really worked together.
What we did was we built a green screen appliance for Garrett. So we brought Garrett into the shop and took a live cast of him, and then, like I said, we built this essentially like a donut-shaped round piece of flesh that could be applied on and blended off. And then to take that one step further, we also built a head of Garrett that was totally lifelike. It was a likeness head of him. And then we built all the damage. So we do have a real practical element of this skull damaged and messed up that then Jim's guys were able to take Garrett with the green screen head and then take our head and do cyber scans of each one and then combine those two. So what you're seeing inside of Garrett's head is actually our fake head.
We had felt that we did the shot of a Terminator having his head blown off really well, and Mr. Ferguson is ill today. So we felt that we didn't need to do that again, but we did want to show the devastation of a plasma burst against a Terminator's head.
You know, I always find that old school is the best school.
The death of Queeg is going old school.
With Queeg, we were going back to trying to come up with a way to do it. Do we want to do something like we did with Garrett? And Guy B, the director, said, why don't you just make an appliance that goes around and we'll cut a hole for his head and stick him in. I was like, that's brilliant.
And Rob created the residue and flesh, and it works great. We added a little bit of special effects smoke, and it looks like a Terminator got his head, half his head blown off by a plasma gun. Rob did some fantastic things, not only with the stiletto in the eye, but also with the shot where the antagonist Terminator gets its neck broken.
We were shooting very fast in that elevator. We're doing a lot of little pieces, second unit. Some of it was out of order. That piece with the eye, you know, it had a little plate on it with a fake heel coming out of it, and that had to go on last, and it had to go on very quickly. So the only challenge with that was just standing by on set with prosthetics and being able to go, okay, now she's got the cheek piece, okay. Okay, now she's got the heel in her eye, and go.
These are little pieces of vacuum plastic that we've had chrome plated in the shop in Almost Human. Now, she's not wearing this, but essentially what happens is this would be glued on, and then we'd put the prosthetic over it. So that's what we did here.
I think the ultimate goal when you're doing my job is just to make it look real. And there's only a slight difference between real to the eye and real to the lens.
I just really respect Rob's vision. He's such an artist, and what he does is incredibly delicate.
I really do love the challenge. I love it when it works. You know, sometimes you beat yourself up and you're like, man, it's almost there. It was almost exactly what I wanted. Most of the time, people are right when they say, oh, only you notice those little things, and that's probably true, but I think that you only really grow as an artist if you're always pushing yourself and you're always beating yourself up. I mean, I think that really, it's gotten me to where I am, and I'm in a pretty happy place right now. I mean, get to work on Terminator and get to do all this great stuff.
One of the most important things that we have to do for our audience is maintain a suspension of disbelief. They just simply get into the story because they believe that Rob has created a real Terminator.